So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. This is the release 7.1 for Posh Easy Win, and you can go to his GitHub and pull it down, look at all the different branches. This is the newest one that was pushed out. If you haven't seen any of the later versions, there's some other features that have been made available. I can go into detail in other videos, but for this one, we're going to go with chat server and note sharing and file sharing and stuff like that. If you're aware of how SMB works when it comes to file sharing, there are different objects that you have to associate with permissions when it comes to sharing, like SMB sharing and whatnot. And if you're unfamiliar with the different security objects and stuff like that, you can look at Microsoft's documents for object picker and see if particular users are under different groups. When you want to do SMB sharing, just ensure that you're selecting the correct group for proper SMB file sharing. If it's authenticated users or particular users that are under administrators, or there's another group that you have, trusted analyst group, then you want to make sure that you're just sharing files between individuals that are trusted, right? So you don't want to do it to everyone. You can if you want to, but for testing, I wouldn't recommend it in production. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and show that right now. So let's say situational, scenario, right? We're pulling data back from endpoints, and we just want the querying to come from one central workstation, but we want to share that data between multiple workstations, right? So I'm going to be flipping back and forth between two screens, so hopefully it's not too confusing. I'll make sure to annotate which workstation I'm on. I'm using Proxmux and Spice Viewer or VirtIO to kind of toggle back and forth between hosts. This one you see right here is the main workstation. And if you've watched the previous videos, you've seen how we get to this point, starting up the tool and getting everything working, so on and so forth, getting data from Active Directory into your tree view, using proper credentials, and so on. So right now we're at the point where we want to query an endpoint, but we want to share that data. So let's go ahead and see how that works. So you'll see right here on the main page, there's a use file share, okay? Now, if you go here to network, you'll see that there's a file share that's already here for me because I have network discovery turned on. You may have certain permissions that are like locked down, or you don't. Your workstation broadcasting like a Smb drive or whatever, but you can see there's like nothing in here. There's nothing mounted or anything like that. It's just this is just a discovery. Hey, here's this host right here on the network, right? This is me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mount a file share. So we'll use this feature right here, use file share, and you can see another GUI window pops open. And what we're going to do is we're going to host it locally. I'm going to use my FQDN for the host, and the remote share name is going to be called Posh Easy Win, and the share file location actually for the remote file path is going to be here. And I want to only give access to authenticated users, okay? Like I said, if you look at Microsoft's documentation, they have different object pickers for different groups and whatnot. Just make sure you're giving permissions properly to the proper group. So authenticated users in this case, just for testing purposes. And once that's selected, you can choose, what kind of rights, read or full or change, stuff like that. We'll just do full for now. And we'll do new Smb share. So before we do that, we can get Smb share, and we can actually see what share. So these are just all the default ones that are built into Windows or whatever. But we're going to go ahead and make a new one, and we'll do a new Smb share. And you can see right here it has the endpoint, share name, file path, account access, account rights, and credentials. Okay, so the credential part, if you're on the distant end, if you don't have the proper credentials for your group for authenticated users, then you're not going to be able to get in. You can tweak this however you want to once you create the share to lock it down even further. To only share data between trusted endpoints. So just explore that on your own, but we're just going to go for this demo purpose, kind of leave everything vanilla somewhat. So we're going to click yes. And what that will do is it will create a new share for Cyber Admin. And what we can do is we can actually get Smb Share again and see now that we have a new share name and its path where all the data will be stored and who can access these shares, right? Authenticated users. What we can do now, what you'll see, this is actually a PS Drive. This isn't, when you go here, you'll see this, but when you go back to the PC, you won't have it mounted, but it'll be under network shares right here. And if you wanted to, you can go here further and lock it down, do more sharing, more advanced sharing, and stuff like that. It's just up to you for security purposes. As you see, there's special permissions on here. You can go in and edit that if you'd like. Just keep in mind who you're sharing it with and so on and so forth. But now that we have that share, we want to go ahead and do a new mapping, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose A here for new mapping, and right here I'm going to do new mapping, new Smb mapping, and we're going to map to this new share right here. And we'll go ahead and click OK, and we'll say yes, and Smb share has been mapped. So there we go. And you can go down here to your PC, and if you want to, you can mount it and map it here if you'd like, add this network location. That's up to you. But what we're going to do here is we're going to select the mapped Smb drive, because this is now going to be the drive where we're going to start storing all of our data that we pull from our endpoints, so that other users that we trust can actually access this map drive and pull that data as well without having to query endpoints. We've queried it, we're just sharing it, right? So go ahead and select mapped Smb share drive, and here you can see the local path and the remote path, right? So go ahead and click OK. And this is now the file folder location up here where we will now centrally store data. All right, so let's pop on over to our dissident right here on this workstation. And you can see that we don't really have much in the tree view. We have ourself and our cyber admin workstation, and we'll just get rid of this right here. And we can actually, if we want to, we can map a new Smb drive, which is on our cyber admin. And what we can do is we can go down to here, hit refresh, and we see that right here, right? And we see there's no data in here, okay? So got that, cool. Let's go ahead and let's map a new one. We can go to here, add network location, hit next, okay. And we're gonna do browse. You can do browse if you'd like. We don't have anything there, I don't think. Let's see if this works. Let's see here, cyber admin. I think it's going to be 2 backslashes right here. And this folder you've entered does not appear to be valid. Please choose another. So let's go to here, and let's go to map network drive, and then we can go to A. All right, so we're going to map this network drive to A. Go ahead and finish. All right, so you see we have nothing in there. All right, and we'll go up to here and we'll just click A. Let's do capital A here and open folder, and you can see there's nothing in there right now. So we've mapped that cyber admin drive. Now, the only reason that we were able to see it right here is because network discovery is on and we have proper credentials to hit it. If we didn't have the proper credentials to hit it, or we weren't an authenticated user, we wouldn't be able to see this. We'd have to authenticate in, and then that would be that right there. Or it'd be locked down to a particular user or destination or whatever group. So we have that. Okay, so you see that we don't have any contents in here, right? Now, we don't want to query from our remote endpoint. We want to have the Posh Easy Win server admin do that for us, and we just want to visualize the data. So let's go ahead and pop back over to our cyber admin Posh Easy Win workstation. Now let's go ahead and start collecting some data. We'll go ahead and do WinRM right here. Let's just do something simple. we'll do processes. Okay. And once we have that going, we'll go ahead and we have our endpoint, HR ops, we have proper credentials. Let's go ahead and execute. And we'll click yes. And once that is underway, we'll start pulling all the process data from that endpoint. If we'd like, we can go ahead and do some other enumeration for the endpoint if we want to. Anything in particular, system info, doesn't really matter. So once that's complete, you'll see once we open the folder here, we can type in II space period, and we can see that we have process data that we collected. That's in the A drive that we mounted on our cyber admin. Now, let's go ahead and pop back over to our other analyst real quick. And we can see we also have the data here that is being shared. All right. So maybe we want to give them a thumbs up to say, hey, look, we got the data, we're good to go. We'll start doing with it what we want. Now, if the analysts aren't sitting right next to each other, that might be kind of difficult if you don't have some sort of like open line of communication or some sort of chat. Well, here we have another nifty little feature called Chat Server. And to get this going, it's quite simple. We'll just go ahead and exit out of this. And we'll go ahead and close this, and I'll show you how I did this, okay? So let's say we want to start communicating with our distant end. We can go ahead and click on Start Chat Server, and then choose a specified port. Once you choose your specified port and press Enter, you might see a network box come up for firewall. Say, hey, do you want to allow this port open? You can click yes and allow it open to certain users. So once that's running, we can then click Start Chat Client, and then we can choose a password for encryption purposes that will authenticate to the chat server. Then all the communications will be encrypted, right? And we're going to make sure we hit the correct port as well for our client. Hit enter, and then once that's good, we'll go ahead and wait for our second GUI box to pop open for the team chat. And since we're locally on our host here, we can just put in 127.0.0.1. And we can give ourselves a name. Let's go Cyber Hunter, or no, let's do Cyber Admin. And then hit connect, and make sure that you're using the no dashes or whatever. So maybe we can do like an underscore here. Now let's do Cyber Admin. Hit connect. Spaces are not allowed. Let's do Cyber 1. Maybe that'll work. Not a valid username. Oh, sorry. Got kind of messed up there. So Cyber Admin 127.0.0.1. Good thing it yelled at us, so we know that works, right? All right, so now we're connected in and good to go. So let's go ahead to our distant in our client, our other analyst that's somewhere else, and we'll go ahead and start chat client. We don't need to start a server because we're connected into the server that's on the distant end, right? Which is Cyber Admin, and we have their IP and stuff like that already. So let's go ahead and start chat client. We'll choose our password. We'll just leave default for now and hit enter. And then once that starts, you'll have another similar GUI box that'll come up for team chat. And we'll just do Cyber 1, right? And make sure we put in the IP that we're hitting. And we'll go ahead and connect, and we can see that, yes, we have Cyber Admin in there and Cyber 1. And we'll just do I'm in. And we'll send. And once that message is sent, you'll see it populate in the box right here. And you can go back over to your Cyber Admin, and you can say I'm in. And then good to go. Data is live. And you can send that, and we can go back over to our Intel person, or our Intel box. Say, hey, good to go, data is live. All right, so that gives us the prompt. Hey, we're already good. So as you saw earlier, we do have the data right here for processes, right? So let's go ahead and view CSV results. And since this is our results folder right here, it'll automatically drop us into that mounted A drive that we have that our cyber admin Posh server is hosting for us. So click on this, and here we have other folders, but this is one we want to see, and we now can visualize without running any queries on our dissident, relying solely on our main point, our Posh Easy Win admin server, who is now running the queries. We can now look at processes, and they can divvy up these tasks to the analysts if they want, and so on and so forth. And once we're good, we can just shoot a chat back over, say, hey, got the data. Hey, I got. And there you go. It's as simple as that. So just make sure that when you're all done, you disconnect, and your cyber admin guy, whoever is running Posh Easy on this end, they disconnect as well. That they make sure they're not sharing it to everybody. That only authenticated users can hit the share drive, and so on and so forth. If they want to do that, it's as simple as this. So we'll go hop back over to our cyber admin, and we can open this folder, and we could say, hey, we have access still, right? Let's go ahead and remove this from our original cyber admin. And what we can do is we can click on this, and we can go get Smb Mapping. We see that right there, right? And let's just go ahead and remove Smb Mapping. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And once that's done, it should be removed, and we no longer can see that anymore, okay? And once we're done doing that, we can pop into here to network. Here, now you see that, yes, it is indeed still here, but this is all locally to us right here. And what we want to do is make sure on our dissident, we just do the same thing. We just want to go ahead and remove Smb Mapping. We can come into here if you'd like, and go to PC, and then disconnect, and hit yes. And then once we disconnect, we can't open that up anymore. We can't visualize that data because we disconnected. All right. So that being said, just wanted to show some of the features right there. If you were curious about how to share data back and forth and share chats back and forth between endpoints, I hope you guys liked it. If there's anything else you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to get that out. And I'm sure Daniel will make some more tweaks and push out some really great features in the future. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys later. Take it easy.